right, We Are Not Alone is a new exhibit that's now open at Polk State College's Lakeland campus. It's brought to you by the Coalition Inginue Self-Taught Artist Collective. And here to talk to us today about that new art opening is Robert Bullock and Cassie Jacoby. Thank you guys for coming on.
Thank you.
I'd like to talk to you a little bit about the new exhibit and what all it entails, the type of art that's there, the folks that created it, and how you brought it down to Polk County. Robert, let's start with you first.
Okay, well, we started the organization in Philadelphia. I was volunteering to set up art classes at homeless shelters and mental health centers, and we thought that it would give them better incentive if we found a way to create exhibits for them. So we started finding ways to do that. We started finding galleries that were interested in showing it, and it evolved into a nonprofit which lasted for about 18 years. And in February of last year, I moved down to Lake Wales from Philadelphia and brought the entire nonprofit with me. We officially changed the address of the nonprofit, and we hoped that by bringing some of the artwork with us, we could find an exhibit down here in order to get people to be more aware of what we were doing and what we had done in Philadelphia, so that we could try to bring that type of a thing down here. Through our first exhibit at the Lake Wales Polk State College Art Center there, we met a lot of people and we made a lot of connections, and that enabled us to find out that there are similar things like that, like what we were doing in Philadelphia, but that they're missing the piece of the exhibit part. So we're going to try to help them to get the exhibits together, and we're going to continue these exhibits until we form enough alliances to make this a whole coalition of different nonprofits that work together to make this happen and give people opportunities to exhibit their work.
Sure. Well, Lake Wales, I mean, we know is a big hub for art in Polk County, well known for quite a while.
It's so exciting. Ever since Polk State College has taken over the Lake Wales Arts Center, the Arts Council is alive and well inside Polk State Lake Wales Arts Center, but we've been bringing in all kinds of neat artwork, and I just fell in love with Robert's artwork and his cause, his mission, when you had the exhibit last fall. And so I'm so excited that it's growing so much. It's going out of Lake Wales into Polk County, throughout the county, now at the Lakeland Polk State campus, and also working with people, other great art groups in the community. It's really caught on, and that whole title, We Are Not Alone, has so much meaning to it that I know Robert wants to explain how we're all working together.
Now, the artists that are featured here that you brought down, these aren't local folks, but that's one thing that you're hoping to bring with. Well,
we're hoping to get some local folks involved, but in this particular exhibit, we have two. We have one from the Lake Wales Care Center.
Okay.
And we have another one who happens to have been a neighbor of my parents, and they were my reason for moving down here, by the way. I moved down here to be nearer to them. And he happened to be one of their neighbors, and he fits the criteria, and he's a very good artist, and we invited him to be in the first show, and now he's in this one as well.
Well, now, can you talk a little bit about the criteria and the folks that are featured in this? I know have very unique backgrounds, some with disabilities, some with mental disabilities. Varied backgrounds. So could you tell us a little bit about the stories behind those and what folks are going to be seeing at that exhibit?
Yeah, I'd like to. Actually, it started out at homeless shelters and mental health centers. So it was primarily about people with histories of homelessness and mental illness. But we started calling it the Coalition Inginue Self-Taught Artist Collective because the one thing they all had in common was that they were self-taught. Okay. A lot of them had no previous exposure to fine art, or maybe they just didn't have any interest in it before we met them, and we started the art programs, and they started doing artwork, and they started doing something that was uniquely personal. And that's what makes it different from the art that you'll see if you go to an art exhibit like a professional gallery with artists that have academic training. These people do things that are personal, and
Is this more of a folk art type?
so yeah, a lot of it borders on folk art. There's actually distinctions between folk art, visionary art, naive. You know, there's a lot of different euphemisms, and they each have their own niche. Folk art is more like, you know, based on folk traditions. There's one woman who was in Philadelphia who had come from Georgia, and she painted with her fingers. And she was a folk artist. She painted like a lot of, you know, scenes of the things that she remembered about, you know, rural Georgia and growing up and fishing in the ponds and everything. We have another guy who, all of his artwork comes from his dreams and his visions and his, he read books about all kinds of different things and just kind of put together all these different theories and really complex theories, and he's got all this in his artwork, and it has words, and you can read the words, and you can read the whole stories. And
So it's like a story to go along with
yeah,
the
it's
artwork.
You know, you have to see it to believe it. Actually, his work has so much detail that we usually hand out magnifying glasses when we have exhibits.
No kidding.
So that people can
All
really
right.
appreciate the details.
It's so colorful, and it'll just grab your soul. It's like really haunting and unique, very creative, very colorful, very. It's art you're not going to see just any old place.
Sure.
Probably not going to see it anywhere else, but that's fun to know what it means to these artists to be self-taught and then have a place where their art is now framed. Robert also does great framing, by the way, and so it's framed and it's hanging, and people are coming and looking at it and appreciating it, and having a great reception where you can have food and drink for free. So I think it's neat it really helps their self-esteem, wouldn't you say?
Oh yeah, it helps on so many levels. I mean, just making art is therapy. You know, you get.
Now, is this part of any
relaxed.
official therapy that they're undergoing, or is it more just a voluntary, hey, we want to
Yeah, I mean, the places where I've done it in Philadelphia, and I think the same thing is going to be true down here, is that it becomes something that is part of their therapy, or it's part of a strongly suggested activity for them to do in order to get the benefits that they're receiving through their care givers or centers or whatever. If it happens at the hospital, I might do it like at the Winter Haven Hospital. It would be a kind of a therapy type thing. So I think it differs from one place to another. But my whole goal in this is to just provide the opportunity for people to make art, provide the art supplies and the coaching. I view myself as a coach, more so than a teacher. And then whatever comes out, you know, encourage them to keep on doing it. Because if you keep on doing it and find a way to make it fun for yourself, people are going to have fun looking at it. And I always tell them that if you have fun making it, people are going to have fun looking at it. And if they have fun looking at it, you know, they're going to be endeared to it. And that's what's happened time and time again. People who say, "Oh, I can't do any art," and then, like, you know, 2 months later, they're selling artworks for, you know, a few $100s.
Okay.
So it can happen.
That's great. Well, I know you're also building some new partnerships now coming down to Lake Wales that with the Arts Ensemble Education Foundation of Winter Haven and also the Lake Wales Care Center. Would you like to talk about those and what you're building there for the future in the community?
Well, it's my sincere hope that the art classes, I've done one, and we did two art classes at the Care Center so far, and we hope to do it once a month. I think it's basically on the schedule to do it once a month at this point. But if they go over well enough and we can start doing them more often, then that would be a great thing for them and for us, and we can possibly find an exhibit venue to exhibit the work just to give them more incentive. I think I can turn one of their buildings into an art gallery if they'll give me the permission to do that. The Arts Ensemble has invited me to come in as a resident artist and start working with them to teach some of their art classes. They have art classes all over the place.
Oh, great.
And they're doing great work, and I would be very pleased to be part of that. We've discussed the possibility of just kind of merging, but keeping the two identities separate just for the sake of, you know, I do something that's a little different from what they do. So there's a purpose for both of us to exist or coexist, and the more we can help each other, the better.
All right. Well, Robert, Cassie, thank you guys so much for coming in. We really do appreciate you telling us about this, and best of luck to you with the show. and all in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Well, to recap what's going on, the We Are Not Alone exhibit is currently open at Polk State College, their Lakeland campus, and that's at 3425 Winter Lake Road in Lakeland. There will be a free reception going on January 22nd from 5:30 to 7 p.m., and the exhibit goes through January 29th. If you'd like more information, you can look at their website at www.coalitioninginue.org or call 863-589-5941.